Balsillie sat frozen in his Waterloo office, staring at the live stream as a turtleneck-clad Steve Jobs calmly dismantled the entire foundation of the enterprise phone market. For nearly a decade, Research in Motion had ruled corporate communications with an iron fist, turning the humble BlackBerry into the indispensable addiction of global executives and politicians. They called it the CrackBerry for a reason. Its tactile, QWERTY keyboard and secure push email made professional life tethered, productive, and utterly dependent on Waterloo's servers. Co-CEOs Jim Balsillie and Mike Lazaridis were geniuses of engineering and aggressive deal-making, convincing Wall Street that no consumer device could ever replace physical plastic keys. They genuinely believed that adults typing serious emails would never trust a flat piece of glass lacking tactile feedback, branding the touchscreen as a fragile gimmick. Meanwhile, inside Apple's secretive Cupertino labs, a renegade team had spent years perfecting a multi-touch interface that rendered every existing mobile phone interface instantly obsolete. January 9, 2007, arrived at the Macworld convention in San Francisco like an impending storm, carrying an atmosphere charged with anticipation for what Jobs promised to be 3 revolutionary products. When Steve Jobs stepped onto the stage and delivered his iconic line about reinventing the phone, the tech world held its collective breath, unaware of the seismic shift. He systematically mocked the competition, displaying slides of BlackBerry, Motorola, and Palm devices cluttered with physical keyboards and clumsy plastic buttons that wasted precious screen space. The audience laughed at the jokes, missing the dark reality. Jobs wasn't just launching a gadget, he was executing a calculated execution order on the entire mobile industry. For 3 excruciating minutes during the presentation, Jobs demonstrated scrolling through web pages and pinching to zoom, making BlackBerry's track wheel look like a relic from the Stone Age. In Waterloo, the engineers watching the broadcast experienced a slow-motion realization that their billion-dollar fortress was built on shifting sand. Mike Lazaridis reportedly walked the halls of the engineering department demanding answers, refusing to accept that a phone without a physical keyboard could actually process corporate email reliably. Yet, BlackBerry's internal memos dismissed the iPhone as a battery hog with a toy browser that would crash cellular networks under heavy corporate traffic loads. It was a tragic miscalculation born of corporate hubris, as RIM's leadership failed to understand that consumers wanted a computer in their pocket, not just a secure pager. By the time the iPhone hit stores later that June, long lines of eager buyers wrapped around city blocks, signaling a cultural revolution that Waterloo could not stop. Balsillie tried to pivot, pushing the development of the BlackBerry Storm, a desperate touchscreen device featuring a clickable screen that felt clunky and frustrated millions of users. Return rates skyrocketed, software bugs plagued every update, and carrier partners grew increasingly hostile as Apple demanded total control over the retail and consumer experience. The corporate world, once fiercely loyal to the secure keyboard, began quietly defecting. Executives started carrying 2 devices, a BlackBerry for mail and an iPhone for everything else. That 2-device compromise was the beginning of the end, because once an employee tasted the App Store ecosystem, the BlackBerry OS felt like a prison sentence. RIM's market share evaporated with terrifying speed, plunging from an unassailable peak down to a rounding error as shareholders panicked and demanded executive blood. In 2011, amid plunging revenues and cascading network outages, Balsillie and Lazaridis were finally forced to step down as co-CEOs, ending an era of Canadian technological dominance. The company that once connected world leaders and dominated Wall Street was reduced to a cautionary tale taught in business schools as the ultimate masterclass in disruption blindness. Steve Jobs didn't just beat BlackBerry with superior hardware. He weaponized aesthetics, software integration, and consumer desire against a company that refused to evolve past utility. It serves as a chilling reminder to every titan of industry. Market leadership is never permanent, and the greatest threat rarely comes from a direct competitor matching your features. Instead, the fatal blow always arrives from an unexpected visionary, completely rewriting the rules of the game while you are busy counting your current quarterly profits. Today, the physical QWERTY keyboard is a nostalgic memory, preserved only in museum archives and the bittersweet recollections of early smartphone pioneers who refused to let go. Apple claimed the kingdom, reshaping modern human behavior, communication, and culture in a single, perfectly orchestrated presentation that lasted less than an hour. BlackBerry's empire vanished not because they stopped trying, but because they failed to realize that 3 minutes on a San Francisco stage was all it took to erase history. And as you swipe across your glowing glass screen today, remember the ghosts of Waterloo watching from the shadows, forever trapped in the age of plastic keys.